Why otters are not as cute as you think. If you find yourself anywhere near the coast of North America, Central and South America, Europe, or Asia, take a moment to check your surroundings. Be sure to check in with your loved ones and don't forget about your pets. There's a global gang of ruthless criminals currently on the loose, and it's time that we address the crime spree. Did you know that between 1980 and 2000, river otter attacks on humans were on the rise? If rabies isn't enough, there's plenty of reasons to rethink trying to pet that friendly otter. From murder to necrophilia. Today on The Animal Shelter, we're going to be taking a look at why otters are definitely not as cute as you think. Attacks on humans. On the surface, otters seem harmless with their tiny paws and whiskers. It's hard to imagine that this mammal's cuteness disguises their aggressive behavior. They even hold hands with each other and can juggle rocks. But this is all a ploy to hide their ulterior motives. Otters, mainly river otters, are full of vengeance, and they have been known to attack humans. In fact, a 2011 study confirmed fears that otter attacks on humans had been on the rise. In North America alone, 39 separate accounts detail river otter attacks on humans. The 1980s contained only 3 of these attacks. However, by 2000, that number had grown to 17. If being attacked by an otter isn't enough to make you reconsider having one as a pet, consider that in the 1990s alone, 46% of these attacks resulted in rabies too. Lockjaw? Anyone? While river otters remain pervasive in the coasts of North America, their sea otter relatives have fared less fortunately. In the early 20th century, pelt hunters nearly wiped out the species. Safe to say, otters have had a rough go, which could play a part in their aggravated nature. Murder. There's no shortage of savagery in the animal kingdom. We know that predators and prey make up the essence of the circle of life. However, a striking difference exists between otters and a mother lion taking down a gazelle to feed their young. Unlike a majority of species that hunt for survival and kill for food, sea otters mimic spree killers that enjoy murdering, even when it fails to provide food. That's right, otters kill for the hell of it, and their rap sheet is pretty lengthy. A 2010 article published in Aquatic Mammals found 19 instances of sea otters attacking and menacing baby seals. Be warned, details about these acts are gruesome in nature. In one particular instance, an unsuspecting seal pup met an untimely ending at the paws of an aggressive male sea otter. While the pup rested unsuspectingly ashore, the male sea otter found and engaged in a gruesome attack. First, the otter grabbed and began to bite the seal pup's nose. It's hard to be entirely sure where this behavior comes from or why, but otters do this facial biting quite often and sometimes to great extremes. Ouch! Unfortunately, the seal pup did not survive. Also shocking was that the male otter was noted to lack remorse for the violent ordeal. Instead, the male otter licked his paws following the incident, putting his psychopathic nature on full display. You heard that right. Otters are narcissistic psychopaths that groom themselves after committing murder. Ransom. Otters have no decency when it comes to attacks against their own species. In fact, otter-on-otter attacks are quite common and unusually savage. Male otters have been known to attack female otters and their offspring. In these attacks, they threaten murder and hold the pups for ransom. These male otter vigilantes often use their victims as pawns in order to steal food from their mothers. 2 expert biologists, Heidi Pearson and Randall Davis, describe one ordeal in detail. Their recount of the attack states that a mother otter was attempting to provide for her young when she was the victim of a ransom hit. While she swam underwater, a male otter took advantage of the situation, swarming in and taking a floating otter pup captive. The mother rose to the surface to a shocking ordeal as the male otter threatened the pup's life, holding it underwater as if to drown it. Only when the mother otter released her food did the male otter give up the pup. These male otters not only exploit victims and engage in ransom antics, they're also without conscience as they target female and pup victims in their crime schemes. Hardly cute. Otters are ransom-driven criminals. Otters are violent sexual predators. Forced copulation is the expert term for a truly horrendous act that otters take part in: sexual assault. Otters are sexual predators, and they have been known to not only attack other otters, but also seal pups, monkeys, and even dogs. On the coast of British Columbia, a sea otter acted alone and sexually assaulted and killed a wandering dog. At the Bronx Zoo, river otters acted in violence against a monkey that they shared an exhibit with, ultimately killing the primate. The most savage attacks, however, occur between otters and seal pups and also other otters. These attacks quite often include the previously mentioned forced copulation. You can imagine yourselves what that would look like, however, we don't want to get into that. The mating routines between other otters are also often savage. When male otters find a female mate, the male will approach from behind, grip around the chest, and then proceed to engage in facial biting. Male otters bite the faces of their female mating partners, and unfortunately, this can result in fatal injuries caused by deep lacerations. Both adult as well as younger male otters exhibit this unusually violent mating behavior, as well as engaging in forced copulation with other animals. Better rethink those adorable little guys. Otters are sexual predators too. Otters are necrophiliacs. If sexual assault, murder, and ransom weren't enough to cause you to reconsider the otter's cuteness, there is a characteristic of otters that could be the subject of a horror movie. Necrophilia is the sexual attraction towards corpses, and otters, like sadistic killers found in true crime documentaries, are necrophiliacs. Otter expert Heather Harris observed this bizarre and creepy behavior of otters. In one instance, a male otter held a female otter underwater, and it was only after death that the otter began to engage in a mating routine. This very same otter was tagged for observation, and 10 months later was observed again by Harris guarding, swimming, and diving with a deceased otter's carcass. What causes this behavior remains unknown, but surely it is what nightmares are made of. Be on the lookout for the next blockbuster horror flick about otter necrophilia. Disease. So, you still want to adopt an otter pet? Think again. If you aren't terrified by savage otters yet, consider that otters are also full of diseases. Not only can otter attacks result in rabies, but they can also spread the flu. The flu shot for otters is still in the works, and so others have been shown to carry the H1N1 or swine flu virus. In fact, researchers at Washington State confirmed that up to 70% of otters carry this virus that can make anyone pretty sick. If you see an otter in the wild, it's probably best to keep extra social distance. Across the globe's many coastal regions, otters can be found in their natural habitat. But you may want to rethink trying to get close enough to snap a selfie with one of these pawned criminals. Not only have they been known to attack humans, but they are truly one of the most unusual killers in the animal kingdom. They might appear to be cuddly aqua mammals, but otters are sexual predators, murderers, and disease-ridden necrophiliacs, and definitely not as cute as you think. That concludes our look at these savage killers. Let us know in the comments section if this video changed your mind about otters and if someone you know has been the victim of an otter attack. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more videos coming soon. In the meantime, check out this video about animals that evolution does not want to succeed.